10, the streets of Flatbush. It had been cool going back in time to meet Jackie Robinson. I had enough information to do my report. I was exhausted. All I wanted to do was go back home to Louisville and fall in my bed. But I couldn't do that, not yet anyway. Dad had given me an assignment. I had to at least try to carry it out. I had to find a baseball card store. My plan was to go buy as many cards as I could carry. Then I would go back to Jackie Robinson's hotel, and in the middle of the night, I would use my Ken Griffey card to take me and my old cards back to the future. It was about 5 o'clock in the afternoon when I left Ebbets Field. I started wandering around the streets looking for a baseball card store. Brooklyn didn't look anything like Louisville. It didn't look anything like Manhattan either. The streets were filled with people, almost all white people. Old guys in undershirts sitting on lawn chairs. Women gathered in clusters, gabbing in Italian, German, and Irish accents. I didn't see any black people, and I had the sense that the white people on the street were staring at me. Vendors pushed their carts down the street. One guy was selling corn on the cob from a big basket he attached to his bike. Another came around sharpening knives and scissors. There wasn't a baseball card store in sight. Kids were everywhere. Girls playing hopscotch, roller skating, jumping rope, boys pitching pennies, flicking yo-yos, playing dominoes, marbles, and games I'd never seen before back home at Louisville. Most of the games I played with my friends were video games. It was noisy. Radios blared out of every window. Trolleys clanged and screeched around the corners. There was a siren sound somewhere, but nobody paid attention to it. Moms were leaning out of their window, calling their kids to come home and eat. I could hear someone practicing scales on the violin. There was a bell in the distance, and kids started yelling, Gioma. I couldn't imagine what that meant, but a minute later, a good humor truck arrived, and it became clear. My eyes were wide open. It was very new and different to me. A group of shirtless boys were down the street playing stickball. Now, this is a game I knew. In fact, back in Louisville, I ruled stickball. I leaned against the fence to watch them. For a bat, the kids were using a sawed-off broom handle with black tape around the lower half. The ball was an old tennis ball, hard and dead. They had drawn a scoreboard with chalk on the street. Want to play? The kid who said that was looking towards me, but I figured he must have been talking to someone else. I turned around to see if anybody was behind me. You, the kid said. Colored boy. Want to play? Okay. I came around to the other side of the fence, and all the kids jogged from their positions. Hey, I'm playing with no nigger. One of the kids said, Shut up, Louie. One of the kids said, Shut up, Louie, another said. I stood there awkwardly, pretending I didn't care if they let me play or not. The Dodgers got a colored guy now, the third kid said. It's okay. With the bums, it's okay with me. Me too. Forget about it. The kid they called Louie said, picking up his shirt off the ground. I'm going home. Okay, the biggest kid said. You can play. They explained the ground rules to me. Home plate was a manhole cover. The trees on each side of the street were first and third base. Some kid's shirt lying on the ground was second base. A ball hit past one sewer was a single, two sewers was a double, three sewers, well, nobody could hit the ball that far. You hit it past the Chevy on a fly, it's a double, the kid explained. You hit it past the Ford, it's a triple. They assigned me to the team at bat. Everybody ran to their positions, and a kid on my team picked up the bat and wiggled it around. Look, I'm Pee Wee Reese, he boasted. You look more like risotto. Al Pocho, somebody yelled, and he stinks. The pitcher went into his windup, and the kid who was imitating Reese took a big swing at the ball, and he dribbled an easy roller back to the pitcher for an out. Someone told me it was my turn to hit. I grabbed the bat and walked up to the manhole cover. The broom was longer and thinner than anything I'd ever swung. I didn't want to make a fool of myself. I pumped the broom back and forth a few times. Hey, look, somebody yelled, "It's Jackie Robinson." Everybody laughed. The pitcher went into his windup and he tossed the tennis ball. It looked hittable, and I whipped the broom handle around. I could tell right away that I got all of it. "That could be 3 sewers," someone yelled. The ball was high, curving to the left. Someone toward an apartment building. As it came down, somebody said, "Uh-oh." The ball crashed against the window and shattered it. For a second, I froze, just as I stood there with the bat in my hand, admiring my home run. "That was a 25-cent ball," complained one of the kids. "You hooligans," a lady screamed through the broken window. "I'm calling the cops on you." "Run for it," one of the kids yelled. Instantly, they all dashed away, like roaches after someone turned a light on. I took off at top speed and I ducked under the first corner. After I'd gone a couple blocks, I saw that nobody was chasing me. I slowed down and tried to act casual. If the lady told the police it was a black kid, it would be hard to hide. I didn't hear any sirens, and I relaxed a little. Stores lining the street were selling just about anything anybody would want to buy. It seemed. Fish, newspapers, pots and pans, radios, everything but baseball cards. I fished a dime out of my pocket and I bought a hot dog from a street vendor. I noticed 4 kids kneeling on a corner. They were throwing something against the wall. As I got closer, I could see that they were flipping baseball cards. My dad told me he not only flipped cards when he was a kid, but he even put them in spokes of his bike with a clothespin to make the noise of a motor. Incredible. Some of those cards would be worth hundreds of dollars. If these kids were smart, they'd put them in plastic pages instead of throwing them at a wall. But they didn't have a clue. "Excuse me," I asked one of the kids, "is there a baseball card store in the neighborhood?" The kids looked at me oddly and then at each other. I wasn't sure if it was because of what I said or because they weren't used to seeing black people in this neighborhood. "Go back to Harlem, Jungle Bunny," one of them said. "Yeah, beat it," said another. They had me outnumbered 4-1. I wasn't about to pick a fight. "Look," I said politely as possible, "I don't want any trouble. I just want to know if there's a store around here that sells baseball cards." "A what?" one of them asks. A kid who hasn't spoken before, who seemed nicer than his friends. "A store that sells baseball cards? Bubblegum cards?" asked the kid. "Try the grocery on the corner of Flatbush Avenue. They might have some." The kid looked familiar to me somehow, but I couldn't place him. "Your turn, Flip," somebody urged the kid. "Flip?" I asked. "Is your last name, it's not Valentini?" he replied. "What's it to you?" "Flip Valentini. I'd travel back over 50 years. And who should I meet up with but the guy who lent me the Jackie Robinson card as a kid. The world was a strange place. "Let me give you a piece of advice," I told Flip Valentini. "Keep your bubblegum cards in a safe place. When you get older and move out your mom's house, and take them with you. Whatever you do, don't let her throw them away." Flip looked at me like I was nuts and went back to his game. I brought another hot dog from a vendor and headed for the grocery store. Flip told me about the sign on the front of the store that said Italian and American Groceries, Sam Houserwick. Before opening the door, I hesitated. I knew that black people and white people used to have separate restaurants, separate hotels, and even separate water fountains. Maybe I wouldn't be allowed in this store, but there was no sign on the door that said I couldn't come in, so I opened it. There was a man sitting behind the counter, wiping it with a rag. I looked around the store. He was sold a little bit of everything. Man, if only I could buy up all this stuff and save it for 50 years. I thought I'd be rich. "Do you serve colored people here?" I wasn't exactly sure how he would word that, but when I was younger, we used the word black, but as I grew older, it became African American. Jackie Robinson, I noticed, referred to himself as a Negro, and white people in his time. When they weren't using the N-word or calling him some other mean words, usually they'd say colored, or it was confusing. There's only one kind of people I don't serve, son. Who? Giants fans, he replied. You're not one of them, are you? No, I said. I'm the Dodgers all the way. Good boy, so what can I do for you? I want to buy some bubblegum cards. He looked at me like I just told him I wanted to buy some elephants. Are you Meshunga? He asked. I didn't know what it meant, so I didn't say anything. Are you crazy? He translated. I don't sell bubblegum cards, son. I was about to turn around and walk out, but he reached under the counter and handed me a pack of cards. I gave them away. You give them away? I asked, astonished. Why? Where are you from, son? Companies give them to me with their products as promotion to get people to buy stuff. You know, I couldn't sell them. Do you have more I can keep? What do you want them so bad? He asked, checking under the counter. I'm a collector, I replied. Garbage collector, the man mumbled to himself. He scooped up a few more packs and handed them to me. The drawer jingled open and a heavy-set delivery man came in. He was wheeling a dolly stackered with bread. On the back of his uniform was the word Bond. At first, I didn't make the connection. Where should I put these, Mr. Housewalk? The Bond bread guy asked. Mr. Housewalk directed him to the bread in the corner of the store. They both signed some papers. The Bond guy was about to leave when he stopped and turned around. Oh, I almost forgot. You want any of these, Mr. Housewalk? They told me to clear them out of the warehouse. He held out a pack of baseball cards. Jackie Robinson card. Bond Bread, that was the company that put out the Jackie Robinson card that I used to travel back into 1947. There were 13 cards in a pack. I knew it would sell for $5,000 back home. My eyes must have bugged out of my head. No thanks, said Mr. Housewalk, but I bet this young man would take them off your hands. Here, kid, the Bond guy flipped me a pack of cards. I missed it, but I scooped it off the floor like it was a gold nugget. How many of these do you have in a warehouse? I asked it desperately. A few hundred, I guess, he replied. There are just stacks and stacks of them. Why, you want them? Want them? I did a quick mental calculation. If one of the packs would be worth $5,000, 10 packs would be worth $50,000, 100 packs would be worth $500,000, 200 packs. I started to feel dizzy. Dad would go Mashunga whenever I showed him up back home and handed him the suitcase with $1 million worth of baseball cards in it. I want them, my voice said, cracking a little. Meet me first thing here Thursday morning, the Bond guy said. I'll bring you everything I got. Can I go to the warehouse with you right now and pick them up? I asked, hopefully. It's close for the day, he informed me, and I got to deliver all over the city between now and Wednesday. Just meet me back here on Thursday morning, and I'll take care of you. I thanked the Bond bread guy about 10 times before he left. You must really love baseball cards, Mr. Housewalk commented. I do, I said, turning to leave. By the way, you wouldn't have any Mickey Mantle cards lying around, would you? Mickey who? Forget it, I said, closing the door behind me with a jingle.